Tonight on CTV, as CSU reaches an enrollment milestone, discussions around student debt circulate around campus.
And the Northern Colorado Drug Task Force accomplished one of the most successful busts in history.
Then, learn how students utilize mental health resources and about certain dining hall hacks that may come in handy.
This and much more tonight on CTV.
Breaking news. If you have purchased marijuana at the Live Well dispensary here in Fort Collins between July 28th and August 22nd, you may want to throw it away. A health and safety advisory warning has been administered due to potentially unsafe levels of yeast and mold. The state of Colorado issued an informal notification because the sample did not go through the proper testing.
However, LiveWell conducted their own tests and found that certain samples of the marijuana did not pass the required safety inspection.
This was not only the only drug-related incident to have occurred in the last week. One of the most successful drug busts in recent Larimer County history happened on October 5th. The Northern Colorado Drug Task Force seized around $83,000 worth of drugs, 17 firearms, and $44,000. The case is referred to as Operation Buy-In, and it has been a long-term investigation right here in Northern Colorado. On October 5th, the task force, along with 17 other local and federal partners, including Fort Collins SWAT and the Colorado National Guard, executed multiple search warrants, which led to the arrest of 5 people. One of the 5 arrests was a Fort Collins resident. 27-year-old Trey Renfro was arrested with 4 felony charges, and his bond has been set to $250,000. If convicted, Renfro could spend 10 years to life behind bars. The investigation is ongoing, and 3 people are still at large. Warrants have been secured for Noah Klausner, Soteros Palmer Hillman, and Trevor Gregory. Larimer County residents can do their part to report illegal narcotics activity or the location of fugitives by calling 970-498-5171.
A woman and her 3-year-old child were held at gunpoint by a Larimer County resident on Saturday, October 8th in Wellington. During the incident, the suspect even called the police and claimed that he killed the mother and her child. Luckily, when authorities arrived, the woman and her 3-year-old were found uninjured, but she told deputies that the man was on the phone with 911 holding the handgun toward the child. The mother also reported hearing a gunshot as she fled the scene. The man, now identified as 46-year-old Zirk Marshland Bears, was arrested and tased by police, but is now booked into Larimer County Jail. Bears is facing multiple charges, one of which is 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder and resisting arrest.
If any words on a college campus fill students with absolute dread, those words are most likely student debt. With charges totaling in thousands of dollars and hardly any way to officially pay those debts off, it has become a stressor to students across the country. And CSU is no exception. However, now that President Biden is set to forgive it all, we here at CTV got CSU students' perspectives on their student debt experiences and what this relief would mean to them. Student debt has been on the minds of academics everywhere. College expenses are increasing every day, with the cost of attending university today many times higher than what it was not only 2 decades ago. With the price of tuition skyrocketing, many students find themselves struggling to pay the cost of their degrees. Students across campus gave insight on their experiences with student debt and the effect it has had on them and their families.
The whole experience, I feel like takes away from me actually being able to enjoy my life at college.
Many students have struggled financially, sometimes having to work and go to school full-time just to make ends meet.
Rough with the student loans, pull those out and you still only have $100 in the bank at most. It's kind of hard to pay bills and stuff. At the time I'm worried that I'm not able to pay my bills. So I have to take time away from school just to be able to work and actually be able to afford the bills.
The stress can be daunting to some, with students wondering how they're going to pay when they walk across that graduation stage.
That is literally the hardest part of college for me, I think, personally. It's been really tough, I guess, with loans and stuff. I've applied for a lot of scholarships and it's still not enough.
Now, President Biden hopes to change that and students' fate with the Student Debt Relief Plan. The plan, set to go into effect within the next year, hopes to target students with high amounts of student debt, with loan forgiveness, and decrease the loan rates.
Right now, I have about $8,000 of student debt, and if he cancels $10,000, I'm getting a $2,000 refund. That would be amazing.
With the student debt forgiveness plan on its way, students hope that their debts can be paid and they can continue their education with peace of mind.
Money is just such a stressful thing, and I feel like school is already so stressful with everything that I feel like taking that out of the equation just is gonna make you be able to focus on what's important. That's getting your degree.
While student debt can be a daunting problem, CSU stresses that they are here to help. You can go to the website below to see CSU's plans for student debt relief, as well as financial help to get a cost-effective education. It's crazy to think that we are already halfway through the semester.
As midterms approach and courses begin to ramp up, prioritizing your mental health is vital.
Our live reporter, Kate Sherman, joins us live in the studio with more. Kate?
Thanks, guys. More than 60% of college students struggle with mental health, and this past Monday was World Mental Health Day. So I talked to students around campus to learn more about CSU's mental health resources. This past Monday was World Mental Health Day. I talked to some students around campus to find out what they knew about mental health resources and support.
As a transfer student, my previous university, which was in the South, didn't talk a lot about mental health and awareness, so I feel like CSU as a university does a really good job of informing students of where they can get resources. But as for an actual physical location, I haven't seen anything in the LSC that is an office for mental health or something that's more physically accessible. I know that you can go to the health center, but it's really far.
CSU also offers a number of online resources that are available to students 24/7. These include You at CSU, Silver Cloud Help, and the Nod app.
I think it's good. I think it's overall a pretty positive outcome to recognize mental health, I guess, and make it resources available for people.
You can find multicultural resources right here on campus inside the Laurie Student Center. These include the Women and Gender Advocacy Center, the Pride Resource Center, the Student Disability Center, and many more. You can find one-on-one counseling services at the CSU Health and Medical Center, located on Lake Street. There are a lot of mental health resources and support around CSU's campus. Don't be afraid to reach out to any if you need. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Kate. I have had about 2 midterms and still have a 10-page essay due in the next week, and I am tired and very stressed.
Yeah, this time of year is crazy stressful for everyone. I know I'm feeling it as well.
Just absolutely crazy. And honestly, I think we all just need a rest. I think those resources can be really great for people.
Yeah, I think people should definitely reach out. Reach out if you need help. Well, Rams, on a separate note, Hurricane Ian had a devastating impact on Florida residents, but during the final weeks of September, a CSU-led team of citizen scientists helped to track the storm. The Community Collaborative Rain, Hail, and Snow Network is a nonprofit group of volunteers across the country who work to measure and map rainfall. The organization started right here in Fort Collins at the CSU Colorado Climate Center in the late 90s. During Hurricane Ian, the group members in Florida worked to track the storm from their very own backyards. Education and Outreach Coordinator Noah Newman told Source, "It's so valuable for the National Weather Service to be able to get reports about what's happening on the ground because radar and satellites can really only do so much." Speaking of weather service, we're going to take a short break from the news.
When we come back, Adam Carlson will join us to give you the rundown on what to expect from the weather for the rest of the week. Stay tuned.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate
is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy.
Ugh, my bad.
Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Adam Carlson, here to give you everything you need to know about the weather for the rest of the week. Looking at current conditions, we're going to see clear skies out tonight and 60-degree weather with a humidity of 28% and 8-mile-per-hour winds. This week is when we typically see the first snowfall in Colorado. However, we are still seeing clear skies and people enjoying their time outside. But based on past years, that time is running low before it's hot cocoa and sweater weather here in Fort Collins. Looking at the overnight lows, we're going to see down the I-25 corridor and in the Eastern Plains, high 30s and low 40s generally, Denver being an oddball at 46. Looking over at the mountains, we're going to see Craig at 27, Vail 35, Gunnison 22, Alamosa 25. And Grand Junction being our high of 43. Heading to tomorrow's highs, we're going to see, once again, the Eastern Plains and I-25 corridor all hitting around those mid-70s. Pueblo and Lamar hitting us with those oddballs at 81 and 82, respectively. In the mountains, we're going to see Craig at a 71, and Vail, Gunnison, Alamosa all in those 60s. Alamosa hitting 69. Telluride at our low for 57. And Grand Junction hitting 76. Tomorrow's forecast, we're going to see a high of 76 and a low of 41. It's going to be generally sunny outside with a humidity of 27%. However, be prepared, it's going to be windy. Heading into the 5-day forecast, we're going to see another week that is very sunny. Monday through Thursday, we're going to see sunny weather. Monday, Tuesday, hitting us in those high 60s. And then Wednesday, Thursday, in those low 70s. Friday, giving us those clouds and a high of 68. And that brings me to the end of tonight's weather for you all. But stick around. JJ and Gavin have more news for you after this.
Baby, you see, you're so right for me. Like sweet tasting wine, your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go. Baby, never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back from the break, Rams.
The overcapacity of on-campus housing can be seen with students staying in a nearby hotel. And now, we may finally have a better understanding as to why. Colorado State University officially announced that it reached its largest class size in history. This is thanks to the first-year class, which saw over 5,500 freshmen enrolled, a 7% increase over the last year. In total, the student headcount exceeded almost 28,000 students. CSU Pueblo's campus also saw its largest class of first-year students in 4 years, with a 12% increase from last year. Students living in the best Western University Inn are already a result of the influx of new students. If this increase continues in the near future, what might housing look like for next year's first-year class?
If you commute to campus, you may have noticed the city's project on East Pitkin Street. The road has been repaved and restriped with a brand new feature called advisory bike lanes. In the new design, a regular two-way street has one lane for cars down the center and an outer bike lane on each side. The lanes are designed so that bikes can travel alongside motor vehicles and drivers can yield into the bike lane to pass an oncoming car. On this street, bikes do have the right-of-way. According to the city, this system works well in low-speed, low-traffic areas. This is the first ever advisory bike lane in Fort Collins, but they have been effective in other cities in reducing traffic and increasing bicycle safety. The city will be closely monitoring the new design to ensure that it is working effectively.
Cans Around the Oval has been a CSU tradition for years now. With perishable foods from the community always donated, it has become a staple of goodwill for the CSU community. Now, Cans Around the Oval needs the community's help once again. Cans, Cash, and Nutritious Staples is one of the largest fund and food drives in northern Colorado, with no plans of stopping. It is a partnership between CSU's Rams Against Hunger and the Food Bank of Larimer County. The charity event has started collecting donations from the community and has reached $15,000 of its $60,000 goal. They also plan to collect over 20,000 pounds of food before their main event next Wednesday. Now the fundraiser is asking for everyone to step up. There's still time to help Cans Around the Oval reach their goal. The charity says you can go to this website down below to donate. They want the entire community to step up and take care of fellow Rams in the most important ways possible.
Along with supporting fellow Rams, food is essential to our own physical and mental well-beings. Earlier this semester, the Rocky Mountain Collegian covered 5 hacks to level up your dining hall meals. This week, I put these hacks to the test. Hey Rams, I'm here outside of Braden Dining Hall to put the Collegian's hacks to the test as well as some of our own. To test these hacks, I tried a main dish, a side, and the ultimate dessert. The Collegian recommends getting creative with your combos. So, for my main course, I made DIY quesadillas. Time for the taste test. One with pickles and onions, and one with bacon and chicken. These combos were a bit out of my comfort zone, but in the end, it's all about getting creative. I'm not gonna lie, the chicken and bacon quesadilla is a little bit better than the pickle and onion quesadilla. I give this one a 7 out of 10, and I'll give this one a 9 out of 10. Next, I tried the Collegian's French fry hack. The key here is to drench those fries in your favorite sauces, add toppings, and mix it all together. I went in with some bacon, cheese, ranch, and hot sauce. Overall, they were a little messy, but not bad. Alright, enough of that. The moment we've all been waiting for. Ice cream cookie sandwiches. This dessert is sure to be the star of the show. Take 2 of your favorite cookies and swirl some soft serve ice cream on them to make an ice cream sandwich. Alright, so these ones aren't the prettiest to eat either, but I highly recommend the ice cream sandwich with a cookie next time you hit the dining halls. Dining hall hacks can sound a little crazy, but if you want to spice up your meals or even add a little variety, you can give these tricks a shot.
Well, Rams, it's that time of the year, homecoming. Families are coming from across the country and students are feeling their school pride. Here's everything that's needed to enjoy the festivities this weekend. First, there will be a festival here on CSU's Oval to open up the entire Fort Collins community. Then, the community comes together for Friday Night Lights with a bonfire to warm everybody up. Finally, spectators can enjoy the annual 5K homecoming race, all before the Rams football game against the Utah State Aggies. All of it is sure to bring the community together.
I really love homecoming weekend. I think it's great to see all the families and the alumni just coming back to campus, and I just love the energy.
I know, and I just personally love doing homecoming with friends and family. I mean, I haven't seen my family in a minute, so I'm really enjoying it. Well, with CSU lighting up the weekend in an abundance of fun activities to celebrate homecoming, it's worth mentioning that they are lighting the path to becoming a more sustainable campus.
Our feature reporter Zoe Hayman joins us live with more on how the university is doing this. Zoe?
Thanks, guys. We all know that CSU is known as a sustainable and eco-friendly school. But what we may not know is what CSU is actually doing to get this reputation. Over the past 2 years, CSU has been installing solar panels all over campus to help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. CSU had a solar celebration at the Pavilion on Tuesday in Laurel Village. People who were involved or supported the project came to honor the hard work.
This project was visualized in 2018. Me and my coworker Stacy at facilities sat down and said which roofs are good, what ground sites might be available. We even looked at parking lots. It turned out we didn't get any parking lot canopies out of this one. Frankly, they're still too expensive. But we went out for bid. We hired our partners that we're going to meet today. And they've been doing construction at 20 different sites since April of last year.
Energy companies like Namaste Solar, Standard Solar, and Solaris Energy were highly involved in this project here at CSU.
My name is Nick Perugini. I'm the vice president and co-owner of Solaris Energy.
Solaris Energy was one of the companies that collaborated with CSU to install these solar systems.
The university's goals are 2030, 100% renewable electricity, and this is, 20 great steps to get there.
If you're curious where these solar systems are on campus, visit the CSU homepage, click on Campus Maps, and check the sustainability box. These 20 new solar systems bring CSU many steps closer to using 100% renewable energy by 2030. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Zoe. Well, Rams, that concludes tonight's news for you all.
But stick around. Leah Cackowski is up next to give you a recap on CSU women's soccer and what we may see next in the upcoming football game.
Could we pull another win? Find out the potential answer up next.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
How's it going, Rams? My name is Leah Cackowski, and welcome back to another week here on CAC's Closeout. For tonight, I'll be giving you live updates on both women's soccer and volleyball. Plus, on the other side, we'll jump right back into football as CSU prepares for this Saturday's homecoming game. All of that and more on CAC's Closeout, which starts right now. We start on the pitch for women's soccer tonight. The Rams are currently in Colorado Springs battling Air Force, and time is winding down as they open play about an hour and a half ago. Let's see if CSU is on the right path for a bounce back after its first conference loss of the season last Sunday. So, you guessed it, it's currently sitting at another tie. It's been dead even throughout with 7 shots for both teams, but there's been quite the notable play. So, in the 37th minute, CSU defender Taylor B hit a crossbar on a free kick. Moments later, Rams midfielder Katie Coffin put a shot on goal, but it was stuffed by Air Force goalkeeper Sydney Davis on a diving save. So the chances have been there. With only 4 games left, the Rams are going to have to finish strong if they want a chance to move up in the Mountain West standings, as they currently sit at the number 5 spot. If they can stay away from draws, this is definitely possible. And soccer isn't the only sport going on right now. Rams volleyball just tipped off a little bit ago against Fresno State. As you heard from Mike on Tuesday, CSU is by far the greater opponent. But let's see if it's playing out that way. So, Colorado State is actually falling short right now to Fresno State in the first set with a score of 16-13. Some notable players for the Rams, though, is Annie Sullivan with 5 kills and Sierra Pritchard with 10 assists. We're about 1/3 of the way through league play, so every win matters, and no team in the Mountain West should be underestimated. We saw that last Saturday when San Jose State came into town. But I believe the Rams are still in great position for their 22nd Mountain West Conference title. And now let's transition back to the turf for some Colorado State football. And man, wasn't last week's game against Nevada some of the most sublime, amazing quality football you've ever seen? Okay, maybe not. But at least we got the win, officially making us not the worst team in college football anymore, which is a huge relief. I'm hoping this win finally sparks some momentum going forward. So, what should we expect heading from Utah State? Well, let me tell you. First, the record. The Aggies are only 2-4 on the season, and it's a bizarre 2-4, let me tell you. Don't believe me? Well, try a 3-point loss to Wyoming, 10 points to UNLV, but a 7-point win over contender Air Force. Okay, not so bad yet, right? Well, we can't forget about the outlandish of all, a 4-touchdown defeat to Weber State. Who? I know, but don't take that for granted just yet. Keeping in mind the Rams are still 1-4 and got blown out by even more to Sacramento State. So, it could go either way, especially since it's at Canvas Stadium. With this in mind, here are a few players to look out for when USU has the ball. The man in charge of running the offense is now junior Cooper Legis. Legis was the main catalyst in the Aggies' victory over Air Force, completing on 78% of his passes while throwing for over 200 yards. He's also a threat on his legs, rushing 13 times for 76 yards while also recording a touchdown. The resurgence of Legis was much needed, especially after senior Logan Bonner went down. You see, Bonner came alongside head coach Blake Anderson from Arkansas State last year and broke the Utah State single-season record for touchdown passes. But after starting the first 4 games in 2022, he suffered a foot injury that officially ended his college playing career. However, USU isn't the only team with a fresh quarterback. Yesterday, Jay Norvell announced Giles Pooler will start over Braden Fowler-Nicolosi. So, the throwing game on both sides will be relatively new, making the competition even more interesting. But now, let's look at some veteran weapons that could help carry the Aggies' offense. Grad student Brian Cobbs is the Aggies' leading receiver with nearly 500 yards and 4 touchdowns thus far. Justin McGriff is right behind him with 238 yards, averaging 15.9 per catch. And the running attack complements the passing scheme, as Calvin Tyler Jr. is the Aggies' leading rusher, racking up at 505 total yards on the ground. Utah State's offense ranks 4th in the Mountain West in both categories. So how do those guys and numbers compare with CSU? Well, as you can see, the Rams fall short across the board. They completely double the Rams on the ground. Yikes. Which, isn't really a surprise. CSU sits at the very bottom of the conference in that area. But they're still for air raid, right? Well, the Aggies are also ahead in all things through the area, including touchdowns and yards. Granted, not too far off in the latter. But still, the bottom line is the Aggies know how to score, and the Rams must step up on the defensive end like they did last week and be more aggressive on the offense if they want to compete. Nothing remotely close has transpired yet at Canvas Stadium thus far this year. Hopefully, Friday's performance and the energy of homecoming can allow the green and gold to give CSU faithful what they deserve, a home win. And with that, Rams, that is all the sports action I have for you tonight here on CAC's Closeout. Be sure to tune in on Tuesday for yet another edition of Tuesday Night Sports. Stay safe, have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you then.